initial impression from the OT and it is saying
that's the truth is that I was fairly impressed. As I said, sometimes when we present the data on the macroeconomic variables up to September,
yes,
I feel some of them get out of control. They spiral out of control. Now, if we recorded significant growth in some of them, I feel now attitudes will be brave. But with respect to 2017 fiscal year, which means trend was maintained up till the end of the year, which means at least they were able to keep the economy within the range. Expect to say because we share growth rate, for instance, it was still kept within the range 6.8 at the end of the year and all. I think the difference was marginal, 0.1% and all of that. We share you can say our debt stock as a percentage of GDP, so we share it was still within the same range now. Almost kind of 2 by end of September. Until largely the year 2017 recorded fairly impressive performance, and if you take it sector by sector, variable by variable, and 2018, so it appears to be a little tricky, but nonetheless it appears we are still within the stability environment. The economy is still stable and all of that, even though there are obvious challenges which I'm sure Rebecca wants them. And largely I think and I'm happy this is not a supplementary budget, and it was just fiscal review of the budget I'm presenting for 2017 and it tells us it's not really the case time be a mid-year review. It should be accompanied by a supplementary budget, which means they are really determined to keep the deficit. What was it? We have worked so much as a country on our fiscal consolidation, and to try to keep the deficit, partial fiscal deficit, within some appreciable range, and it appears we are getting there. So that we don't kick that feet out of gear. Abina decided, look, we are not going to incur further expenditures until a supplementary budget to ask for further appropriations and so on. Until I think it's a good thing, and it tells us indeed there is that commitment to make sure the variables continue to be sane, they do not become insane, and that OSHA sometimes adding. And we will discuss it, the contractionary fiscal policy that this government is pursuing. It would be but sometimes it's also necessary to swallow the bitter pill, because if you want to be overly impressive, look, you engage in all kinds of expenditures. And especially so that you are now getting all kinds of constituencies laying threats before you. Constituencies, I'm not talking about electoral constituencies, I'm talking about constituencies in the sense of interest groups. You see, if you don't remain focused, what you are likely to do is to engage in IDIF and pork barrel projects. Pork barrel projects are projects you do for reasons of electoral advantages. But it appears the managers of the economy are conscious of SAR syndrome, and they likely to say it can throw some of these gains out of control. Until they are sticking to the need to. Also, the target for yen deficit is 2.4%. So far, yen 2.6, which means if we are able to maintain such trendy by the end of the year,
you bet me reach it,
or even do better. And I'm sure it is in that wisdom. And a Minister of Finance and then EMT4 Eka said, look, say any expenditures are here emergency expenditures there. Look, there's no need taking further appropriations to Parliament for further approval. And the amount for NTS said there is little room for the managers of our fiscal policy to wiggle. Niente America say we share. You see, government expenditure comes in two forms. You have the mandatory and any friend statutory expenditure, no, any discretionary expenditure.
Yes.
Statutory expenditure, no. Look,
and
also also interest payments, for instance.
Yeah.
And we and also through statutory allocations to various statutory bodies, no.
I was a
and what cost for any compensation.
Yeah.
And when also na every sikano do. And there is very little room for discretionary expenditure. And to sabi, one year smarter, and you want to overly impress the population, you would engage in discretionary expenditures at the end of the day.
Yeah.
A bema with deficit, aye kesia. And until such a time, sir, and media me who say interest payments cry ne queen kese. As for the others, they are understandable. But interest payments, no. That is why you record a surplus of primary balance. But when it comes to your fiscal balance, it's in deficit.
It's in deficit.
Because interest payments, no, a year more. What you must say? With your primary balance, you are looking at your revenue and your expenditure minus your interest payments. And sometimes, and in 2017, we recorded even a surplus. But when you had the interest payments, no become pena bibia agency.
Interest payments, yes, sir, because of the
okay. And I am happy, sir. This was presented as a review of the budget. I can present here. You see, sometimes when you present your fiscal policy for a year, after a certain period, you get a feedback, probably from the performance of the various indicators. Sometimes you necessarily don't have to introduce new expenditures. I saw to measure we are the buy and how do we nuance indicators and shada and board no modern so that at the end of the day we can get the targets it is not always the case the review no I say this supplementary budget can and all of that and I'm impressed and to be frank I'm very excited we only went to review some of the mechanisms budget so that at the end of the day we can stay on track, and by the end of the fiscal year at least would have been able, the outcomes would have been very positive, and it would have been in such a way we either will be meeting our targets or even exceeding our targets. Adibakwa ama minuso ajikese is the silence on VAT, on the increase or the alleged increase on VAT, because I am opposed vehemently to Sardino. I am opposed to increases on VAT, and I'm sure discussion no cost. We'll get into the details why I'm opposed to it.
Still, our issue say yes, no increment on the face of it, but in technical they are unbundle VAT now a straight levies, i.e. NHIL is straight.
The only thing that has been unbundled from the VAT, near Echo Get Fund.
Get Fund, okay, sir.
NHIL stood alone as a levy. It was a standalone levy. The only tax item that has been unbundled from VAT, near Echo Get Fund.
Get Fund,
and I don't think it's a problem because it was a special purpose tax.
Okay.
And it was a special purpose rate included in the tax. You've created a statutory body called Get Fund. You need some regular source of income to feed it.
Yes.
And even as you can be free aba. We hear regular source. You see, if you index receipts to Get Fund, if you index it to BB say Cocoa,
yes,
and BB, which has victims and which are liable to fluctuations, depending on what happens on the world market
now,
you are likely to have difficulty.
Yeah.
But with consumption tax to say VAT, so long as we continue to consume, exactly. Anything I felt say it was a special purpose rate which served a special purpose.
Okay.
And the only year you could have tax handle you could have added that to me, my dream was the VAT.
Okay.
And it made a lot of sense. Now see, we want it to be a standalone taxer and a levy. Well, I'm sure, and also it will be a levy on finish. I don't know how it's where it's going to be.
But what they've said, and they say,
and now it's going to affect the same base as VAT.
The same base as VAT.
Then
that stand alone.
Which means more receipts.
More receipts, absolutely.
It makes a lot of sense. Because to be frank with you, now Get Fund is about floating bonds. In fact, they are not floating bonds, or they are not intending to float bonds, but they are planning to go for loans. And proposals have been advertised. Say amount for adverts have been placed for people to bring proposals. Efa kwa on before so akoji loan. Now say Get Fund quadruple and so omoji loans there.
Atik. Me put a person focus on the scholarship aspect.
Yeah.
Because at least in the UK, a lot of my friends were on Get Fund scholarship.
Yeah.
If as a country, in this day and age, you just come from the state at the man for scholarship, you know they are not bonded.
Wow.
And to say, Obi at the Get Fund, Koya Masters or UK or Koya Masters or US or Panoba. Some of us went on Talo scholarship.
Yeah.
Talo, we had to sign a bond to return. Oba, for the next 2 years, you cannot travel outside permanently out of Ghana. Because Kale said now, and that's even a private company. It got to a point that Talo said, okay, Yama, Ghana and Sako UK, baby. Now let's localize the scholarship. Ghanaian universities, of course, because Get Fund say, why should Get Fund sponsor somebody to the UK to go and do business management? University of Ghana Business School. Why?
No, you see, you might as well ask why people left Ghana to go and read courses in political science.
I don't get it.
No, sometimes
on state scholarship.
Oh yes,
on state scholarship.
Oh yes. You see, sometimes it is not always the case. Because some courses are offered locally, can be as scholarships must force them to pursue those courses locally.
Why not?
Exactly. Sometimes, now, course, I even Ghana.
No,
you could have applied to me this year.
I drew the distinction.
No, I am building a point. Let's even ignore the scholarship bit.
Okay.
We are talking about courses that can be pursued locally. I'm sure the course you pursued, I dare say, now we have a similar course in Ghana. But you chose not to pursue it in Ghana, but you applied for admission elsewhere.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Through a private scholarship.
No, forget a private scholarship. You had an offer before you even applied for a scholarship.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay, so it was a twin package.
Yeah, Talo scholarship was a twin package.
Okay, so until you apply with the scholarship for the scholarship and admission,
absolutely.
Okay, but the point I'm seeking to make is that sometimes it's not just the scholar, like what you go to learn, the exposure. And this animal, Nina Kahuna, Yema, sometimes it be a bunting.
Yeah, Benjamin, your blanket.
So that exposure now, who bet me the No, I absolutely agree with you. I think it's a valid point. And Get Fund, Bibisa, Nihodia, so Mutimia. And under the SWAL administration, Masa. Get Fund, in respect of scholarship, see, qualified, competent individuals would apply, they would be denied. Foot soldiers will even make recommendations and they are given. And your foot soldiers, they make recommendations and people are giving scholarships. Sometimes classes are, somebody would go with a second upper, first class, second lower, monies, and they go and courses are said, at the end of the day, there's even a disconnect between those courses and the market demand. Ultimately, no baby is here in the Israel, and I'm sure that these are things we need to review going forward. And I'm sure that Get Fund, they are taking all of these into consideration.